Hello and welcome to the Women of Power show. I am so grateful to be here. I'm really, really excited to be here today because I have invited really beautiful friend of mine and a guest that I know that is going to inspire me and everybody, whoever you are. You're going to be inspired by this incredible individual. Her work is just profound. What she does, what she stands for, her intention and her vision for her life is just something that I believe she is walking the talk as a woman of power. And I'm going to bring on right now Bonnie Gonzalez, a licensed practitioner and an incredible woman of power. I couldn't keep you waiting any longer in the background there. And I'd like to, before I welcome you on here, I would love to read out your bio so that people can know who you are and what you do and your journey here, because you really are you're doing an incredible work. And I think that one thing that is so beautiful that I'd really love people to know is that you are a registered nurse and a professional licensed practitioner and a professional life coach and a licensed soul collage facilitator, which I'm really excited to be talking about with you, and a doula for grief. I don't think a doula for grief. I think you're doula for grief. And you were a critical care, hospice and palliative care nurse. And through your professional practices, you've acquired knowledge and experience with grief. And it's just so beautiful where you are now and what you're doing, Bonnie. And I know that you've practiced Buddhism for many, many years, and you're devoted to your practices of that, and you bring that through in your spiritual practice and who you are as a spiritual teacher and leader. And I know that you are an inherent traveler and that you move around, you travel to where your heart is guiding. You're a global citizen. And at the moment you're living with your husband you're there in Mexico, and you were in Ireland previously before that. And you are here on New Thought Media Network with your broadcast, your doula for grief, and doing so many beautiful things for your Center for Spiritual Living community and for the community in Region 12. It's just so beautiful and such an honor for you to be here. I'm so grateful. Welcome, Bonnie. You're a woman of power.
Oh, Laura, thank you. And I am a devotee of Laura Topper, I must say. I met Laura at the just most incredible time of my life. It was, what is that? The stars had all aligned for Laura and I to meet. And since meeting Laura, I'm telling you, my star has just risen in the sky, in the night sky, and shining brightly, just shining brightly. So I'm in deep gratitude to Laura Topper.
Oh, Bonnie. Well, look, your work is so beautiful. And we were magnetized together. I know there was a kind of like, we could hold us back from knowing each other and being with each other and connecting with each other virtually, because we haven't met in person. And the day when that comes, it's going to be hard to separate us, I think.
I think the world will feel it. There will be some, big explosion of love that's going to happen around the planet. Oh, Laura, thank you. Just thank you for the opportunity to come on and just to share with other women, and not women, with other people that are listening, that you too can just be in your power. You can be in your power. I always feel that the only thing you have to fear about being in your power is yourself. And you get aligned with people that can help you maintain that and see that. That's the key. Laura, I know you have questions, so I should stop and let you ask a question.
Oh, no. Listen, this is an organic conversation,
right?
And so it's going to begin where it needs to begin, and it will come to fruition where it needs to, and there are questions along the way, and I'm just really interested in you, Bonnie, and your path and the journey that you're on, and because you are a spiritual teacher. The essence of
Yes.
you is that you are a spiritual leader, and that you have brought these teachings, your own understanding of truth, to life in all that you're doing. And I believe that for me, this is so beautiful as women of power, as a woman of power, as a person tapped into her own sense of power, that you can bring all these pieces of your understanding and your wisdom together and reshape and keep reshaping and reshaping. That's so beautiful.
Yes,
I love
Laura.
that.
Oh my goodness, Laura. I feel like we're never too far from our true North Star. I was never far from my true North Star. It's like all of the work that I have done over the years have led to this moment right now. I bring everything that I have learned to this moment, to this second, to this show. I think about, I sometimes say that, my life is like a cake with the icing, with the candle, with the cake, with the icing and candle on top. It's just absolutely beautiful. But to make a cake, you know how you need the salt, you need the baking powder, and you think, oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
But put that all together and look what that brings. Look, for me, I'll keep it in the eye that everything that I have done, especially even with being a mother, has been a part of the spiritual journey. That has been one place that, right along with, nursing, being in hospice, doing hospice work and palliative care, being in critical care, helping people as they transition, being there to say farewell from this side as they're being embraced on the other side. So all of that has just led me to where I am right now, being your doula for grief. And I know when we hear the word grief, if you're like me, I used to think of the Grim Reaper. But unpacking all of that, it's that grief is really, truly what leads us into true happiness in our lives. Because moving through grief, we are in touch with all of our emotions. When we get in touch with all of our emotions, we allow the joy to shine brighter. And yes, the sorrow and sadness is there, but we can hold both. And so that's what I'm enjoying doing, getting people to see that, yes, grief is hard, grief is painful, but it leads to a full expression of life. And I will stop there.
No, I'm really I mean, I think as you're saying this and I'm feeling into this, this whole idea of grief, and that you have chosen grief as the foundational piece for how you bring yourself and your whole body of work forwards to serve and to assist people. What is it about grief that why grief for you? Because there are so many other areas, it's like there are, what is it about grief that you said, I have to be in this arena. I have to help people in this arena. Yeah.
Yes.
Because I think that's it's a powerful place to be in. I mean, a financial coach or a money coach or an empowerment coach, or, grief, I think, takes a certain amount of, definitely sensitivity and creativity and humility and understanding. Why grief for you, Bonnie?
Yes. Why grief for me, Laura? As I was saying, my experiences, all of the experiences, especially being in healthcare, being with people that are at the end of life, or people that have gone through a traumatic event, in my years of talking to them, in my years of being present for what they're feeling, is when I begin to realize if it was all these conversations were around grief and the ability to not be able to express it, not have someone that can listen to them as they talk about the pain of whatever has gone on. Because as I say on my show, that loss is what we experience and grief is what we feel. So the losses that these people have experienced, and especially when I'm doing end of life work, their regret for what they could not talk about, their regret for the people that they had tried to talk to but were not able to listen, that those people were not able to hear them. A lot of times what they would get from, say, family members or close friends that they were trying to make a reconciliation with, that they said 9 times out of 10, the person would say, I don't want to hear that right now. Let's just move on from that. Not wanting to delve into what that person needed at that time. I remember when my own mom was, and my mom was quite healthy. She transitioned 7 years ago, but my mom was quite healthy. And she one day called me to say, you know what, I'm not going to live forever. And I want somebody to write down what I want for my funeral, what I want to wear, how I want my final service to be. She says, but nobody will listen to me. Nobody will talk to me about that. So I said, okay, I'll come over. And I sat down with her, wrote down all of her wishes, what she wanted, and what minister she wanted to provide the eulogy, and all those things. And Laura, the relief that came over her face was incredible.
Wow.
Incredible. And it's like,
yes,
I just want people to know, I get a little passionate about this, but I want people to understand the power of just listening. You don't even have to say anything. Just listening, just your presence is so vital. And so that's what gets me passionate about grief, because I know a solution, and it's easy. It's not as impossible as we think. And living in a society that truly is avoidant of any emotion, or not any emotion, but any emotion that's not of joy and happiness. There was a movement recently about toxic positivity. And, you know, sometimes we do dip into that. And I'm not advocating toxic, the negativity, but advocating a balance of being able to hold both. So that's my gateway, or my portal into saying yes to grief, saying yes to grief. It's like, grief, bring it on, because the superpower of grief, the magic of grief is within that grief is exactly what you're looking for, the healing that you desire. That is the superpower of grief. It has the power to heal. It's exactly the antidote that you're looking for. And I say that, in meaning, yes, you will come out the other side a different person, a changed person. But I want you to know it is work. It is hard work.
Sure.
But we can do this together. We can do it together. Bell Hooks says we can't heal in isolation. So as we're going through our grief, not isolating ourselves during this venture. I'm going to call it the journey of grief, doing this grief journey, not doing it alone. And yes.
It feels to me as if your mother was grieving loss of connection with, she was seeking to have that connection with another, so that she could really share her own truth and what it is she really desired for her life, for that time of transition of her life. And and you helped her through that grieving. I think we're all grieving moment by moment, day by day, for certain things or losses,
yes.
or shoulda, coulda, woulda been, or whatever happened. Kind of.
Yes. Laura,
There's a
a grief,
perpetual.
and I just wanted to say, grief is a part of the human experience. Grief is a part of the human experience. There was a culture in, I want to say, West Africa. I'll have to look it up again and refresh my memory. But the way they held grief was totally different. It's like you don't own the grief. You don't, I have grief. It's grief has found me. Grief has found me. And that's how they hold it. And if one if grief has found one person in their community or in their tribe, they would say, grief has found us, and no one goes through it alone.
Isn't that so similar to the Hawaiian practice of Ho'oponopono, where the community come together and own it together?
Yes,
because we're one, and as it's realized in one, it's realized the community.
And has such ways of bringing communities together and uniting people together around a common cause and supporting each other. And if I look now, with what's going on and the effects of the pandemic, of people being isolated and separated for years now, that's what has lost, that connection, that human connection that is so vital for us. We're truly, truly social creatures. We were not designed to really live in isolation.
For this.
Yes. Yeah. And I think emerging from the pandemic, and I don't want to get too political there, but I think as we continue to emerge or coming back from this, I think this is becoming clear what is really needed. What is really needed, that human connection, being able to be heard with whatever concerns you have, being able to be heard.
And so you assist people, you guide people, you're there for people on a one-to-one basis. You support people who are feeling that to connect within their hearts and to understand this grief and this loss. And you work with people on a one-to-one basis, don't you, Bonnie?
Yes, I do. And what I want to say with that, with being a grief coach, that what comes up when we're in grief, what happens with grief is that when you're in grief, what happens? Grief gets your full attention. Grief gets your full attention. And that's when it gets your full attention, and it gets you to look at your life, to say, wow, this is not how I want to continue living. This is what I need to move forward, or I don't need that. It helps you really to look at your life and identify those things that are not allowing you to be the best that you can be, or to feel as good as you want to feel. That's what grief does. It gets your attention like nothing else can. There's no other emotion that gets your full attention like grief. And that's why there's such a need for grief coaches, and coming to just the people that I interact with. That's what's going on. Grief has said, hey, I'm here. Let's take a look at this. Let's hold this up to the light. And doing it together, doing it with someone, be it that you have close friends that you can talk to or in need of a coach. It's the idea is to not do it alone, because grief is bringing a gift to your life. Grief is bringing you a gift. So being able to slowly unwrap that gift You know, at times you have a gift that somebody gives you and you can't get into the box because the wrapping's so tight and you got to pull and tug or maybe ask for scissors. That's kind of like the way grief is. It has a gift and it may be tough, but the end result is such a beauty for your life, like a beautiful unfolding of your life.
That's so powerful. I love that vision of the gift box with the tape. We know there's a gift in there, and we need to tug and pull. The more we tug and pull, the greater the resistance is. Yeah,
exactly.
And the piece where you say grief gets our full attention, because if I think about it, that's like Maslow's, it's like the lowest need, the hierarchy of needs. It's like the lowest one there. The grief there's so much pain in grief and suffering. And by ignoring it, it kind of multiplies and duplicates itself and oozes out into other areas of life.
Yes.
So it takes courage, doesn't it, to even go there and want to wrap that gift. It's a courageous adventure.
A courageous act. I had one client that just said this very thing, that, if you don't grieve, it'll come back and bite you in the you know what, that it'll bite you. Right. She said, so it's better to just fall into it now and fall apart, do what you need to do, because if you don't, it will come back. It will come back. And what she's saying is that go ahead and lean into that discomfort, lean into it. Even if you only take 5 minutes a day to lean into that part of discomfort, slowly, little by little, you're able to lean in it a little bit more fully until finally you find that it's not so painful anymore. You find that whatever thoughts you've been holding are not so aggressively in your face because you have given it space to be. Laura, and I just came to the realization that how can we heal from grief when we don't know how to be with grief? When we don't know how to be with it. So that's what I'm offering.
Yeah, Bonnie, thank you. And that's so interesting, because what I was feeling into at that, when you were talking just now, is that it can be very easy to bypass our humanness. I don't know about a spiritual bypass. I think that there's also a big human bypass that goes on, where we tend to think that, I'm it's like I'm spiritual and I'm doing my spiritual work, and have a good spiritual practice, and all of the, the languaging and the story that goes on with that. And we are human beings also having a human experience, as a spiritual being having a spirit. Yes, and often I think the emotional side of it can get, denied, because we are human beings here, and we are here to feel and to go through all this, and to use spirituality as the way to access it, access these feelings and bring them forwards and heal and feel. So I think as you're speaking, I'm feeling that grief doulaing and grief coaching can really accept the humanity of who we are as well. The humanness.
Laura, and I love when you talked about what you were feeling, because then it reminds me of my favorite poem of Rumi, The Guest House. It's just about welcoming whatever you feel, the dark thought, the mean, the malice. Meet them at the door laughing. Invite them in, because they can be clearing you out for a new delight. Clearing you out for a new delight. Clearing you out for just what it is that you desire and that you want so much for your life. That grief is transformative. It is definitely transformative.
So let's talk about power here and your idea of power. And I just wanted to, ask you, who are your spiritual teacher role models? Women, men, them, individuals. Who are the people that, because I think we all have these people that kind of, I do in the back of my mind, it's like, okay, I wonder what that person would do, because that person, I really admire their body of work. Who are these people for you,
Oh
Bonnie?
my gosh, Laura, I'm going to embarrass you. I'm going to embarrass myself.
Oh, and it can be anyone. Is it Snoopy?
Laura,
Is it Paddington?
Oh my gosh.
I love Snoopy.
Great. There's value in everyone that you meet, even the most undesirable. Do you remember that? What is that? It's a Disney movie, Under the Sea, with, it's Under the Sea is the name of it. And there's an octopus, and her name is Ursula. And it's a big octopus.
Was it Nemo?
No. It's a Disney. Oh, she's got red hair. Oh, The Little Mermaid. The Little Mermaid.
Oh, The Little Mermaid. Okay,
The Little Mermaid. I love that woman, Ursula. I love the octopus, Ursula, because she says something.
Now.
Yeah, she says something to the effect that you gotta have body language. She made me feel in that moment, to have a body, to have a big body is a really, truly advantageous, the most desired that you could have in a body. And she wasn't ashamed of it. So Ursula's one. And fantastic. Laura Topper is number 2.
Oh, no,
Laura,
no.
No, wait a minute. You have to say thank you. You have to be a host.
Thank you. Move on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And, okay, and this one's going to blow you away. Jimmy Carter. You know, Jimmy Carter, I just think he is the
Wasn't he your president?
Humanitarian, the most kindest, gentlest soul. And he's still alive. Oh, I just so admire him. And of
actually,
course,
I know
Maya
that
Angelou.
Wasn't he instrumental? Oh, sorry, there's a delay. That's why I was. I'm just wondering. He instrumental in the peace treaty with Israel and Palestine, and back in the 1980s. I really don't know my political stance, the history and the dates, but wasn't he a part of that healing?
Yes, very powerful.
The Yom Kippur War, wasn't it? Maybe
I just remember the tragedies of all of the events that happened that prevented him from getting reelected as president. So that's where I was how did not stop because he did not get reelected. He had continued to live his life addressing humanitarian needs. And Maya Angelou, of course, how could I she should have been my mother. Yes. Maya, why weren't you my mother?
Well, maybe she is your mother. I think she's all of our mother.
Yes,
she's the mother.
She is the mother of all mothers. Yeah, and I love Buddhist philosophy, science of mind. They're so one and the same. I said I have to find a new name for myself, a Buddhist practicing science of mind, or a science of mind practitioner practicing Buddhism as well. That's my spiritual toolbox is what I call it. Those are the two philosophies that just are the wind beneath my wings. Those two philosophies really just brought me to here and now into this place.
And let's just welcome in Wayne here.
Yes, I was going to say Wayne's with us.
See you and be with you. Wayne is Lightworkers Uniting, absolutely. And we're here with Wayne. We're here with Bonnie Gonzalez, who is such a joy, and I'm just so thrilled that you're here, Bonnie, to share authentically from your heart as a woman of power and speaking on this topic of power. And what it takes to live our vision and our dream and the tenacity and the dedication and the resilience, when often there is, there are things that come up for us that challenge and
Yes.
allow us to question, is this really what I really want to be doing right now?
Mm-hmm.
Could it be easier if I chose to live my life a whole other way? What is it that's kept you going, Bonnie? Because you're a traveler, you definitely follow your heart. I know that you listen so intensely to where you're meant to be and what's happening, and you make that move. You make intuitive moves, geographically as well. You'll get on a plane and go somewhere where you're called.
Yes.
What is it in you that really kind of propels you and keeps you going with that?
Wow.
What is it that you're saying yes to in that calling in your heart,
Yes. Well, Laura, a couple things. Just being able to make a difference in one person's life, and then I'll bring it back to me. But being able to make a difference in just one person's life is all that I've ever wanted. So each thing that I do is in each activity that I attend, even doing the show, can somebody benefit from this? Can I really touch one person's life with this show? If it's just one, that is wonderful. That is fine. Not the entire world, but one person. And I don't know if I told you this before, Laura, but I had been a critical care nurse for a long time. One day, one of the secretaries said, "Oh, Bonnie, there's a patient out there to see you." And so I go out, and this gentleman is like, "Oh, there you are. There you are. Oh, I want you to know when I was," because he was in a coma for a long time. And he said, "What I wanted you to know, when you would come up, whenever I would hear your voice, I would feel there was hope that I can get back to where I want to be." He says, "You don't know how much your voice just saved me and allowed me to heal and come back." And the thing about it, Laura, is that I was touched, but it was like, I don't even remember this man. I don't even remember.
Right.
But I said all the things that I needed to say. But I say that is because every day when I went to work, that was my goal, just to touch one person's life. And so I obviously gave him really good care.
Wow.
He remembered that. He remembered my voice. And so that's what I could say about what keeps me going, along with curiosity. There was something that Nelson Mandela said: never underestimate the power of what you do. And that's what I'd like to offer to everybody.
Oh, that's
never underestimate the power of what you do. Because for my going to work every day,
I was never
taking good care of my patients, not thinking just giving my best every day, that it would make that kind of a difference in someone's life, that they felt that it was saved because of my voice, that my voice gave them hope. So that just touches my heart when I think about it. Again, I have
such a beautiful, beautiful, powerful reminder that even when we're unaware of what we're doing, even as you were unaware of how was he in a coma when, could he hear your voice and he was in a, right? Or was he semi-conscious?
Oh, no, he was, okay. In ICU, when patients are very ill, they're on artificial life support. And so he was on artificial life support. And then what we do when we have you on artificial life support, you need a lot of sedation to keep you in a calm state, so that the machine can breathe for you, so that healing can take place. And so he had been in that kind of a coma, more medically induced, to maintain his condition, or to maintain his life on life support. So and I must say that really was the besides hospice, critical care was really my call to my heart, because I felt like in this state, people are not able to talk. They can't take care of themselves. They're not able to advocate for themselves. And that was my role, that I was your voice. I was holding more than the high watch. I was really holding vigil for you so that you could heal and get better. So, anyway, Laura, that
Bonnie.
just gets me going.
Bonnie,
Yeah.
this high priestess work that you have said yes to in this lifetime and probably other lifetimes too. This is a deep calling for you, and
yes.
to realize this. And
yes.
yeah, because that he was in a coma and he reminded you of the power of your word, and he felt your voice in that place. It's tremendous. It really is so powerful, of the effect we have on others, and we don't even realize the effect we're having with our words, with our thoughts.
Yes. And I feel too, Laura, that I was very fortunate in life to know what I wanted to do in life. I think I don't know if I've told you, but I was in second grade and I read a book entitled I Want to Be a Nurse. And I was in second grade and I read that book. And I never in my life wanted to be anything other than a nurse. That was my whole goal.
Oh my gosh.
And about 5 years ago, I was able to go on Amazon. The Antichrist is what I call Amazon. Oops, I better be careful. I hope they're not a sponsor of the show. But anyway, I went on Amazon and I found the book, Laura. I found the book, I Want to Be a Nurse. Oh my gosh. So here I am, a full-grown adult woman, and I read this book and I say to myself, how could that have inspired anybody to be anything? but
I feel a book. I feel a book coming on from you, Bonnie. I am a nurse.
So I just thought, how could that have been? But I guess for a little 7-year-old to read about how you can bathe someone and feed them and make them feel better, bring them comfort. I'm a 2 on the Enneagram, so the helper. So that's what's kept me going. A sense of curiosity and play. Let's play. Let's see how much havoc we can wreak in a day. But just being able to I always said that I worked very hard. I worked very hard as a nurse, and I still work hard now with my grief work. But I play even harder. I love music. I love dance. I think this work allows me to really be free, to enjoy life.
It's so important to tap into that, isn't it? Because we're sitting here doing this work. Well, I speak for me here. I'm sitting here at a desk doing this work. And as much as I love the work, the whole linear kind of physicality of just sitting here doing this and not, expanding out and dancing and feeling life. It's so important to do that, isn't it?
Yes.
And to touch life in that way.
Yes.
And so I have another question for you.
Okay.
Oh, go on. You carry on. Sorry, there's a lag here.
I was just going to say, I love it how when I watch you and Jason play music, it's kind of the same instance of working hard, but wow, there's that other part that nourishes your soul and feeds your soul to give you energy to come back to do the work again. So just watching you and Jason with that. I love that.
Oh, thank you, Bonnie.
Yes.
So I want to ask you, what is the biggest, as a woman of power, as a person of power, as an individual who has really worked in healing world and affected so many people as you have in so many ways, what is the biggest leap of faith that you have taken in your life that you believe is the leap that was necessary for you to open up and expand into that greater version of who you are?
Mm. Oh, Laura, I'm sure you know the answer to that one. 2 years ago in 2020, the middle of the pandemic, we were living in California, my husband and I, and the landlord wanted to sell the property, and he only wanted $1 million for it. And for some reason, I don't know why, that just wasn't in my budget at the time. I'll put it that way, at the time. So instead of getting really distressed, is how I'll put it. I remember where I was standing in my bedroom. I was getting something out of my closet at 1 o'clock in the morning, and the voice just came that said, "Bonnie, just give everything away and move to Ireland. Just go to Ireland and be with your daughter." And I never even used that word, that it was the voice of God. That wasn't my verbiage at the time, but I can say that. It was the voice of God. It was the voice of the divine. It was the universe speaking and said, "Go." And it was so, Laura, it was so clear and so, yeah, I'll just use it. It was just such a clear voice, clear direction, that I woke my husband up to say, "Hey, honey, how would you like to move to Ireland?" Now, here it is, 1 o'clock in the morning. Your wife is waking you up to say, "Do you want to move?" It's like, do I have to move right now? But
Do I have a choice?
Exactly. But he was like, "Oh, yeah, baby, let's do it. Let's do it." And believe me,
great.
we had a 5-bedroom house. We had to give most of the stuff I just gave away. And I think I still have a little bit of space in my sister's garage that has a few things that we didn't let go of. But that was just a pivotal point in my life. I'll just use this. That just blew the doors off of my life. Blowing the doors. Yeah. When I say the doors, it's like anything that was holding me back, like the horse in the corral. It's just like those horses at the horse race, when they're like chomping to go. It's like the gate, the doors, just, that was it. And then, moving to Ireland, meeting you, Laura, I really do mean that. That was another pivotal point, or change the trajectory of my life. Change the trajectory of my life. And I have absolutely no regrets. Just think about going from a 5-bedroom house now down to 4 suitcases. I'm pretty portable now. You call me if you want me to go somewhere with you, I'm ready. I've got 4 suitcases. I can go. So that, and that really, if we want to bring it back to faith, I feel that I just, without my knowing it and realizing it, I had built a very strong, unshakable platform of faith. And I don't want anyone to think that I didn't go through grief. I grieved the loss of my physical possessions. I grieved the loss of my lifestyle that I had. It was pretty nice. I even grieved the loss of my car. I had worked all my life to finally have a luxury car, and that had to go. But nothing is more luxurious as having just that freedom. Mental freedom, emotional freedom, just having freedom. That is invaluable. You cannot put a price tag on that. So
top value.
And right now where I am is that I can look back over these last 2 years without any regret for any of it that has happened. Again, it's back to making that beautiful cake, that my life is that beautiful cake. And it did take that baking soda of having to give everything away. It did take the baking soda of, or the salt of having to give up a lifestyle that was relatively comfortable. So I almost want to say everyone should experience something to that effect in a different, and maybe we all do. And having the awareness to realize that's what's going on. Have the awareness, tapping into your life and having that awareness. And I'll say this, and this is just me, this is just the I speaking. I feel that I've been able to navigate the waters of change, uncertainty, and all of those things because of having a strong spiritual practice. And there's a phone ringing. I don't know where it is. Oh, it stopped.
There's a phone ringing.
Yes, but I don't know where it is, and it stopped.
Oh, it's Deb's love. She's on the phone.
Oh my gosh, yes.
She's on the phone.
Oh my gosh, what is Deb saying? I have a hard time with my glasses.
She's saying, I kept having to log back on. Something was happening with the connect. Oh, we're connected now.
Yes, that's all that matters.
Great to be with you here. Yeah, that's it. And you can always go back and watch the previous. Oh my gosh, it's been 40 minutes. It's amazing. I could talk with you here. Well, we talk for a long time when we're talking.
I think, Laura,
just
this is what happens. Yes, this is what happens when we get together.
Time goes by and it's like,
wow,
4 hours later.
Oh gosh.
So that leap of faith, I mean, that it's a continual courage that it takes to stand in that spiritual practice, to know the spiritual truth, and to be able to be flexible. It's like becoming that, or being that shaman, and just shape shifting with life, going with the flow, and allowing ourselves to release those possessions that actually are quite burdensome when hold us back.
Yes.
So you had a massive shift there.
And
freeing, kind of able to be free and fly.
Right. And during that time, after getting to Ireland, I often say, or I remember at that time, I was saying, I felt like I was having a dark night of the soul, even though, strong, and it was my strong spiritual practice. I feel that delivered me from my dark night of the soul, or allowed me to navigate and journey through that dark night of the soul.
Transverse it. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
It's incredible. I could talk with you, I know I talk with you for hours, Bonnie, and I also know that here on the show I can't, because we have another program coming up.
Yes.
And I'm just,
oh goodness.
So I just want I really would love to just share about you just before we come to a close here, that Bonnie Gonzalez, your grief, is available for your doula free counseling, coaching, and guidance. And I'm going to put your website here, knowing that grief is something that we are journeying and adventuring through for all sorts of reasons, in all sorts of ways. So it isn't only connected to the transitioning of a loved one or someone we care about. This is grief in our lives, even moving home, ending relationships, mother-child communications, jobs, financial relationship with it all. So where the best people find you to know more about your work and inquire about having you as their doula for grief?
Yes, it was a little choppy, but I think you were asking me where they can find me, and you can find me at yourdoulaforgrief.com. Yes. And I hope I wasn't being redundant. I just didn't quite hear. Yes. So please, if you're going through
you weren't at all.
Yes. If you're going through grief, the only thing I ask is don't do it alone. if you are grieving, don't do it alone.
Yes. And of course, Wayne, who always puts a comment in that is right on track. So living faith in oneness, I think that's what Bonnie is saying here.
Yes, yes,
Know
yes.
that we're one and reach out to another. And Debs, thank you for being here. Yes, Debs, grief can be many things. A loss of anything is grief. Yes.
And I'd like to just take my hat off to Debs. Debs is studying to be a death doula, a doula for death. So Debs, just sending you continued well wishes to move through that course, because it is so definitely needed. So definitely needed. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. That must be an incredible body of work to enter into on so many levels. Debs,
Yes.
wow, you are absolutely living something so spectacular to be able to do that and to bring that to people to assist them in their lives. Wow. Thank you, Debs,
Thank you.
for all that you are.
Yes.
Yes, it's amazing. It's soul work, absolutely.
Mm.
And Bonnie, of course, you have your show every Monday
Monday.
at 8 o'clock UK time, your Doula for
Yes.
Grief. And that's 2 p.m.
Central
No,
time.
1,
Oh, wait.
1,
One mountain time.
2 p.m.
One
Central
mountain
time,
time.
1
Yes, and
Mountain,
one mountain
2
time.
Central.
And yeah, and tune in, and just give a listen. Just give a listen. I cover different topics of loss that leads us into grief, and it's so great to hear how other people have navigated grief, or just to hear their story. Yesterday, I had a chaplain on who worked with
Yes.
a police department that went out to give death notices. And I just thought, my work that I do, I love, and I feel like, oh, yes. And then sometimes I hear what other people are doing, and it's like, oh, I don't know if I could do that. But know that you have a calling as well. You have a calling. So tune in. You never know what you're going to hear to find out what yours is to do.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, absolutely. I did watch some of it, Bonnie, and she was incredible. And I
Oh,
hear what you're
yes.
saying, and I'm hearing you talking about being a nurse with critical care for people in critical care. And for me, that feels like, oh wow, what
Yeah.
an incredible journey that you've said yes to, and that soul calling that you are continuing to do to assist people in their
Yes.
grieving process. It's really amazing. Thank you, Bonnie, for all that
Yes.
you are.
Mm.
And
I just
what
feel
is your
honored to be
final
able to
word here?
share. Oh, what is
Oh,
my
it's amazing.
final
And
word?
your final word as a woman of power, speaking out to those that are watching and those that will be watching at any point. What is your final word that you'd like
My
to
final
share?
word.
Or
Here's what
2,
I'll say.
3, or
My
4.
final word. Love life. I am loving life because I have answered my call. I have answered my call. So I invite you to listen and listen deeply to yourself, because what is yours to do is calling to you. It's calling to you right now. So just get quiet, go within, and listen to that inner voice and follow it. And you will have no regrets. You will have no regrets. So that's where I am. Just loving life, loving life. I'm doing the work that I came here to do.
Thank you so much, Bonnie, for being here and for shining your light. Thank you.
Yes.
And
Oh,
thank you to
Laura.
everybody thank you, Bonnie. And to everyone that's been here and in the future. Love life. There's Bonnie's word. It's so true. Follow your
Yes.
calling. And of course, New Thought Media Network, global focus ministry, following its heart and doing amazing things in the world. Every day we have programming and broadcasts and conversations and education and all sorts of ways that you can open up to know the truth of who you are as love. And please go, if you like, to our website, which is brand new. Well, it's not new, but it's been newly populated, and it's lots of great information on there. You can see all of the programming and all of the presenters, and the vision and mission statements, and everything is there. And of course, you can, if you feel that you are connected with this network, then we accept your love offering, your tithe, your donation. You just click on the donate button there, and support what the network's overall vision on this planet right now. Yes. Thank you again, Bonnie.
You. Oh, thank you, Laura. Loving you. Big love. Big love. Thank you so much.
Big love.
Follow your
Thanks
bliss.
to everybody.
Ciao.
Follow your bliss. Bye.
Ciao.
I'm popping the banner up.
Okay.
If I can. Yeah.